Greetings everybody, this is Leviathan here, and it's time! We finally got some Diablo 3 news. Yes, 2.6.10 PTR is on the horizon, everybody. October 1st is when that will be kicking off, and it'll be a 2-week PTR for goodness that we can test. We have a seasonal preview here, some changes to existing legendary items and sets, and a couple of interesting little changes as well. So I'm not going to read everything. I'll put a link to the patch notes here in the video description. You can check that out for all the full details, but I'll definitely hit the highlights of what to expect and what to look out for and some of my thoughts as well. So next Thursday, October 1st, that is when the PTR will kick off. They don't give a time because you never know what's going to happen, but usually it tends to go live in the middle of the day on the East Coast here. Sometimes it's been a lot later though, like in the nighttime, so I wouldn't plan your day around starting, but at least be aware next Thursday it'll be popping up. And it's going to be a 2-phase PTR, which is a little different than usual. The first phase they're going to put in legendary and set item changes, so any sets that got buffed or nerfed, or I don't think there are any nerfs here though from what I saw, buffs and things like that are going to be in that first phase for us to test. And then the second phase is going to focus purely on the season, and they'll introduce the seasonal theme content. And they did note that it doesn't mean that phase 1 goes away, it's just they're adding phase 2 on top, so you'll still have all the legendary items and everything to mess around when the seasonal part comes up. The same stuff as usual. There's increased blood shard drops and legendary drop rate. Dank meme, which they've made a lot better, will sell basically anything you need to expedite your testing. There's also a new bag that Dank Meme sells for blood shards that gives you all your crafting materials as well, so you can actually just make perfect items if you want to on PTR. A couple things in particular that they're looking for us to test to really get good feedback on are going to be the Etch Sigil and Hydras for the Wizard, the Crusader Steed Charge build, and I'm guessing also Bombardment from some of the changes I saw there, and Witch Doctor's Crazy Chicken build. So definitely looking for Crusader, Witch Doctor, and Wizard love in this PTR. And then they give us the usual tips on how to focus your testing on PTR, stuff like that, try to find bugs, report them, things like that. Should be good, but here's the juice, here's the meat of the thing here. So for the season, we have the new seasonal theme for Season 22. It's going to be Shadows of the Past. So whenever you activate a shrine or a pylon, it's going to spawn a shadow clone of your class. And this clone will have 1 out of 3 predetermined builds, which they give us the skills on below. And this clone's power will scale with your characters and will last for 1 minute, or if your character dies. And below are the variations. So that's kind of interesting because, it's basically like a new follower for you for a minute whenever you touch a shrine or a pylon. So, this factors into regular rifts, greater rifts, and I'm curious about this because some of these skills that they have, I didn't look over all of them for every class, but it does seem like they added a decent amount of utility skills and things like that. For instance, for the Demon Hunter, if I scroll a bit, there's Wind Chill, Multi-Shot, for instance, that would give you like a little more crit, things like that. But I could see some of these potentially, and like Mark for Death, Valley of Death, stuff like that. I could see some of these maybe also getting in the way, or like activating skills that you don't necessarily want if you're trying to hurt a bunch of monsters in like a GR push or something. So I'll be curious. Like, Reign of Vengeance Stampede, I believe, has knockback to it, so this could be it could be good or bad, but it's definitely an interesting theme, something quite different than what they've done in the past. So I'll be curious to see just how effective and useful it is. Definitely curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that, so feel free to hop into the comments and let us know what you're thinking there, if any of this is interesting to you, or just curious thoughts. And the power scaling is interesting too, because if it is just going to legit be like another Demon Hunter or Crusader or whatever running around with you, that could result in some solid damage coming out, and definitely could make for some good clears. So I'm curious, and 1 minute is a long time. So I guess the other thought of that too is, like, if you hit, so let's say you hit a pylon, right? You get a power pylon early on, and then 20 seconds later, which can happen in your speed GRs, you get another pylon. If you hit that, you know, does it just reset? Like, what if you like the version of the of the shadow person that came out? You know, are you just gonna give up the 40 seconds on that one and just take the new pylon? It won't really matter for speeds, of course, because you're just gonna be speeding anyways. But there definitely is some you know, mechanics questions on how exactly will that work, and you know, are there gonna be times where you're like, oh, I don't really want to replace this shadow with any of the other ones. So we'll see though. Pretty intriguing. They mention here that there will be 2 unique new rewards, a portrait frame and a pet, that will be granted to players if you complete Season 22 a Guardian on the journey. So finish all the way through the seasonal journey basically, and then you'll be able to get some new stuff here. No previews of what that looks like, but we'll be able to see that in that second phase of the PTR. And then this season they're also, on top of everything, giving us an additional slot in the Kanai's Cube, just a 4th slot, and it will have the choice of the first 3 slots, so weapons, offhands, armor, and jewelry, but it won't stack with any of them, so you can't have like 2 furnace bonuses active at the same time, but you can have, you know, your typical Dawn, you know, a Kill a Curus, elusive ring, and then, hey, by the way, I'm also going to throw a COE on this too, so that should be pretty cool. That definitely can change quite a few builds up. Again, this is basically like your free ring of Royal Grand, or if you want it, things like that. So definitely interesting. That'll be cool to mess around with as well. It's going to give some creative flexibility to character builds, definitely. Here, they also mentioned for Hadrig's Gifts, now they have all of the new sets introduced for all 7 classes, and so that means that Hadrig's Gift will change too to add those into the rotation. So for the next upcoming season, 22, they will be giving us the new sets. So you can get your GOD DH, you can get your Frenzy Barb, all that good stuff. This will be a really strong start to a lot of classes for the next season, because those sets are all pretty darn good. Stone Gauntlets drop for all classes now, which is nice, since some classes really enjoy that item for defense but can't necessarily get it, since it was more like a strength specific item. And then I love this change, to be honest. It's a small change, but I remember it was in the community for forever. People wanted just pickup radius instead of gold find in the Paragon system, so they did it, and now it comes in at 0.1. So when it's maxed out, that'll be 5 pickup radius for free. I can't tell you how many times I've been like, I want to change this item, it's an upgrade, ooh, but I lose a pickup radius. So that's gonna just feel really nice, especially for speed farming. And then there's a bunch of item changes here for mainly the Wizard, the Crusader, and the Witch Doctor. I'm not going to go over all of them. There's like a Necro one here, for instance, but definitely some things that they're trying to push forward here. So mainly it looks like helping out the Wizard quite a bit, because they are the class that's probably in need of the most help at the moment. They removed the 1-second startup before the power takes effect on mantle channeling, which is nice. That was kind of there before to stop Wizard shenanigans. A bunch of Wizard stuff. Crusader, they buffed the 6-piece of Akan, so that's more damage there. Roland's Legacy, more damage as well. The Nervalt's Fervor, which is the flail and shield 2-piece set. I got a nice buff as well too, so that could be interesting to put into use. They buffed Seeker of the Light as well for Blessed Hammer. And now it looks like they're really trying to push a bombardment build forward. A lot of damage increases in every 4 seconds. Bombardment comes down, 400-500% increased damage. Mortal Drama, double the number of bombardment impacts. Bombardment deals 400-500% increased damage. The double was already there, I believe. So, you know, they're just giving it more damage. So maybe there's going to be some sort of bombardment build. I remember in the past there was a Legacy of Nightmares bombardment, which was a Thorns build, but this is buffing the direct damage of bombardment. So it seems like rather than have bombardment be a Thorns delivery system, it's more that you'll actually just use bombardment. Could be wrong though. They actually could just buff Lum bombardment for Thorns again, but I guess we'll see. And then, like I was mentioning, for the Witch Doctor, some Angry Chicken stuff. They gave the explosion quite a buff 5 times. All sorts of things on their 6 pieces as well for more damage. So I guess we'll see. And then it looks like they're trying to give a little bit of love to some generator stuff. Shenlong's got a damage increase, and Ina's as well. Gungdo gear. So that's kind of a shout out to your 7-sided strike stuff. And then a little bard buff as well too. But one thing that's quite interesting is that there's no touch to the DH, which for me, I was anticipating that Gears of Dreadlands would kind of get a nerf, or you know, at least a step back, since it's pretty strong right now. But no touch to that, and that doesn't mean that they won't. But nice to at least see in the preview that there is nothing there. So that's pretty much it though. So you got a lot of item changes from existing. There's a new, oh, I just realized too to mention that this is a new item, by the way, for this Necromancer here. Bone Spirit cast from Simulacrums, increased damage. So that's one new item added, but the rest were changes to existing stuff. And then mainly, you know, the seasonal theme, Kanai's cube with the extra slot, the Paragon change. So yeah, hop into the comments, let me know what you guys think. Again, this will be in the video description if you want a direct link to what we just reviewed. Overall, I'm pretty positive on it. It seems like it'll be interesting to mess around with. Could be a cool theme. I'm definitely looking forward to testing it, and I will be. I'll try out probably DH and Crusader primarily for myself, and then, you know, let the wizards do their work and see what comes out of that, and the witch doctors as well. But yeah, looking forward to getting back to some Diablo 3, producing some content. So hopefully I'll see you guys. Feel free to subscribe to the channel so you can get the future videos, all the good news and juice that'll come out from this. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching this one. Adios for now.